Welcome back to our classes, and at this time we are going to consider something that is pretty complicated to understand, but it's easy to apply. We are going to see how to use the difference between simple present perfect versus present perfect continuous. So let's first remember what we already know about this. The present perfect is a time or a tense, much better said, in which you are going to describe things from the past to the present or in an indefinite past, either when we want to talk about something that is repeated one after another with certain frequency. You have an example there. Have you ever been to Egypt? Yes, I have. I was there in 2000. I haven't returned there since that year. We're talking about something that happened one time, but in the first question we don't know when that happened. And then in the extra information we have a reference to something that hasn't ever been repeated again. How many times have you called your mother this month? I have phoned her 3 times so far. So as I told you, it's repeated 3 times. What has she done all this time? She has been working on the school project. It's due tomorrow. So the characteristic of present perfect, whatever you use, simple or progressive, is that you have to use the auxiliary verb have or has. I have, you have, we have, they have, he has, she has, it has, and the principal verb in the past participle form. Now let's find out what are the differences between one and the other. In the case of the present perfect continuous, as we know, the present perfect continuous is a reference of actions. And in this case, we use have or has plus the verb being, which has to be obligatory all the time, and the next verb with ing. As we are using this to refer to actions, we have to make sure that we are talking about something that is in progress. What have your brothers been doing these days? They have been building a house in the tree. It means that they have been doing that from a certain period of time until now, and they continue doing so. My mother has been working for that company for almost 25 years. I think it's time for her to retire. But I refer that for all these years, 25, she's been working and she hasn't retired. You haven't been paying attention to your schoolwork this semester. You need to make it better. It means that, okay, the semester hasn't finished, so you have a chance to make it better. But you haven't so far been paying attention. Probably you continue in that same condition or not. On the other hand, we can see that this refers to actions that started in the past and continue up to the present without end, without an end. So you say, how long have you been reading that book? I've been reading it for 3 hours now. I can't stop. What does it mean? That you are still reading that book. The reading continues. You haven't finished yet. Or in the other question, how many hours has it been raining this morning? It's been raining for about 4 hours. You see the picture? It continues raining. If it goes like that, we may have a flood. So it means that it's still raining. That's the idea of the present perfect progressive, something that is referring to an action that hasn't stopped. It's still going on. You can see different from that, the simple present perfect. In the case of the present perfect simple, you have no time expressions to be used. The question says, how many cups of coffee has Kathy had so far? So far means until now. So from one period in the past until now, how many cups of coffee? She has had only 3, but I think she needs more. Probably she's drowsy or she needs to work for long hours. But until now, she has had only 3. Have you understood her lecture? Maybe she had a presentation and they are asking you, have you understood her lecture? I haven't gotten a word of what she said. It means that until the time it finished, you haven't understood anything. But since you are not mentioning a period of time or a time expression, you can use the present perfect. We haven't ever drunk tequila, but I think it's a good night to start. And you have an adverb there, ever, which is similar to never. You use ever for the negative sentence, and it says, we haven't ever drunk tequila. It means from the time you started drinking or trying some liquor until now, you have never tried that. But it's a good night to start. So we can get into the conclusion that when we use the simple present perfect, we refer to results of an event or how many times it has happened. For example, it says, I have read that book for 2 hours. I'm going to take a rest now. My eyes are tired. Different from the previous example, in this case, I have read that book for 2 hours, but I'm going to stop. It's going to stop. So that's the idea. You are going to stop because probably you will continue, or probably not. But until that moment, it gives you the result. How many times has she texted you? You see the picture? 23 times. She has sent me over 23 text messages. I need to turn on my mobile or she will keep on. So it means that you are talking about the many times she has sent you a text message. The event has occurred 23 times until now, and it may continue unless you turn off your telephone. So let's emphasize this out. What can we use? Continuous or simple? In the case of the present perfect. So there are two different focuses. In the case of the present perfect continuous, you have this example. My little brother has been sleeping for 9 hours now. You see the first picture? Your little brother is sleeping, but he's still sleeping. And you say, but I don't think he's going to get up soon because he had a very busy day with his playing friends. So your brother is still sleeping. On the other hand, you say, my little sister has slept over 8 hours now. She's getting ready for breakfast now. That means that she's not sleeping anymore. She has slept until now. Now she got up and she's getting ready to have breakfast. The present perfect continuous refers to actions in progress, and the simple present perfect refers to events that have already been done. Probably they will continue, or they will probably not. Now, together with this, we have some expressions that we can use for the present perfect. We have 3 prepositions that we can use: since, for, and in. We use this as we are not using a specific time expression. The first example, you say, this school has been working since April 1996. And it will still be in service for those who need it. It means people who need can go to the school because that school hasn't stopped. But since, specifically that adverb or that preposition, indicates when the action or the event started until now. It doesn't mean that it has finished. But until that moment, it has been working for over 19 years. How long have your parents been to Europe? They have been there for 2 months, but they are going to Asia this afternoon, they said so. In that case, you are using the preposition for. That indicates the period of time. From the moment they went to until this moment, it's 2 months. But they are going to Asia this afternoon. It means a consecution of 2 months of period of time that they have done that activity. And in the case of in, you have this example. She hasn't gone to the cinema in years. She'll be surprised by the changes. She hasn't gone to that cinema in years. In this case, we have to use it only for negative sentences. And it indicates a period of time something hasn't happened. Something is negative and hasn't occurred. So you have to remember, the present perfect never uses a specific time expression because it may refer to the past. We can use some time expressions, but when we talk about these prepositions since, or we can use about period of time when we use the preposition for, or we can talk about some other period of time in negative when we use the preposition in. Thank you very much.